being here.
My pleasure. Good evening, whoever's joining us. I've been a practitioner for well over 20 years, and I have a whole variety of experiences dealing with not only adults, male, female, but also young children as well. So here we go. Your body resonates to frequency. Yes, everything in the universe is frequency. Every part of your body has its own unique frequency. Everything we consume has its own frequency. This is what makes them all unique. I've been a practitioner for well over 20 years, having trained in many different therapies, maybe 15 or more. They all have one thing in common, a unique frequency, whether it's water, sound, supplements, distance, or hands-on healing, homeopathy, RIFE, Scenar, PEMF, therapeutic treatments or apps, music, food or drink. They all have their own frequency. Whether it's organic or non-organic, they are resonating at a different frequency. Good, bad, alkaline or acidic, emotions, beneficial or detrimental. We have all experienced their effects on our mind, body, and spirit. Every thought is a chemical change brought about by an emotion. Every emotion has its own frequency, and the mind-body resonates and brings about a physical change in the mind-body, be it laughter or tears, happiness or anger or disease. Whatever we do, it has an impact on either ourselves or on others. Our words impact others. They imprint on the mind and cause an emotional chemical change. Can you remember as a child someone telling you how great you were at something? Or was it that memory of someone telling you how rude or bad you were? Those memories remain with us forever. They cause a change, yes, a chemical change within us. Many of us know how emotions can cause disease, yes, even certain types of cancer. Research has shown traumatic emotions can cause certain types of disease because the trauma, whether death, disease, divorce, separation, etc., causes major changes within the body. The body becomes acidic, the immune system shuts down, and disease thrives. Remember, the trauma was just a frequency which resonates with the mind, body, and made a chemical change. No different from every other emotion, some good, some bad. Another example is when we experience pleasure. We get excited, our heart races, our body can tremble, and sometimes we get giddy. Tears appear from nowhere. This is just another frequency, making changes to our mind, body. Another example is transfer of energy. Yes, it's a frequency. The water experiment by Emoto is another example. He had the audience focus love on a jug of water and then focus hate on another jug. The end result, after freezing the water, was a crystalline structure. It was quite different between the two. Remember, we are made up of 60 to 70% water. And as water can be imprinted, so can we. If you're in a violent relationship, with someone else, the words they use will imprint on us. It's not just the physical impact that is retained, it's the words which are frequency. And thus an emotion an emotional impact, and of course a chemical change within us. We have the ability to imprint water or any other liquid ourselves. We can transfer energy or frequency into the liquid by various methods. One way of energizing water is by fixing our words, thoughts, or intentions to the outside of the container. Our positivity will be imprinted itself into the liquid, and then when drunk, will transfer inside of us. You may have experienced the same when using your Infinity app to produce a remedy. In reality, you are imprinting the liquid with the frequency transmitted from the app, no different from a homeopathic remedy. By the way, you are able to do much the same with food as well. So yes, our thoughts, our emotions, our intentions travel through time and space. Why? Because they are just a frequency. Now, I bet you're wondering, what has this to do with intention? Don't worry, I'll get there shortly. I can recall a young child, maybe 7 years old. The parents had split. The mother had a new partner. The father also a new partner who had 2 children of her own. This child was very angry and he felt abandoned. His school said he was being extremely disruptive and wouldn't learn. Well, the mother asked if I could help her son. My response was, sure, I'll do all I can to help him and your family. Before I started, I had set my intention for a positive outcome, which I do every time prior to working on every single client. Have you ever experienced the difference while giving a treatment, where before you started, you set your intention for a positive outcome, and on the other occasions, you have just not bothered setting your intention? Did you find the outcome was quite different, not quite as successful? Setting intention sets up a different resonance for the healing process to occur. In our world of healing, much is hidden and unseen. We are more than mind and body. We are far more than that. Our emotions, our energy, our spirit are part of the process. Please always set your intention. Ask the universe to help and guide you for a full and complete healing. Ask to be guided. Ask for the outcome to be positive. I promise you, you will be amazed at the difference it will make to yourself, client, or loved one. I need a drink.
Love this. Thank you, Victor.
You should set your intention. Remember, it's a frequency that is transmitted to everything around you. Set it every time you prepare your food, eat your food, drink the water or tea, before doing your exercise or going for a walk, or before you meditate or go to sleep. Set your intention for the greater good, for a positive outcome, for your body to receive the greatest benefit from the food and the nutrition and the healing. You say, I choose to be positive. I ask the universe to free our world of poverty and disease. I choose to be healthy. I choose to be successful. I choose to be free from illness and disease. I choose to be guided and the healer of others. I choose to be guided by the universe on my journey through life. These are all positive statements. The world, the universe, understands positivity. I ask for my mind, body to be fit, healthy, and active. And of course, when you are treating another, set your intention for them to heal their mind, their body, and spirit. If you are not healthy with positive thoughts, you are unable to help others. So intent is a major element of healing, not only yourself, but healing others. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Yeah, it's so important. And you know, we can feel it when we're invoking spirit or invoking the light. You know, we're asking for the help. You know, we're asking for that divine guidance and invoking that in the session. So, you know, it's a very, very important part of the practice that we're doing as healers.
Energy.
Yeah.
Energy is all around us. We are energy beings. And therefore, whatever we do influences others. In Russia, research was carried out on pregnant women. And they took a group of pregnant women around an art gallery and then to a concert. And these were women that would not normally have done that. And the children that were born compared to the control group were quite different in their appreciation, even at a very young age, of art, music, etc. So, you know, there have been over the years many trials on energy, intention, frequency, because everything is frequency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all frequency and quantum. You know, it's interesting. I'd like to ask you a few questions, like the difference
Sure.
between quantum and frequency. Because they are very different, aren't they?
When we, the transmission of energy or frequency occurs constantly. It never starts and it never stops. We are affected by all the elements of frequency around us. We cannot, unless we go into a shungite room, to be shielded, or a lead-lined room, we are invaded by frequency, whether it is 5G or your internet or your mobile phone. Everything is having an impact on our body. Somebody attacks you. It isn't only the physical aspect of the attack, it's the emotional aspect, mm-hmm. which then has a chemical change on the body. You will always remember it. But what we try to do, for example, in EFT and other therapies of that type, is we take the client from being within the scene to become a member of the audience. Because when they're in the audience, they have lost the emotional attachment and they become just, it's a memory, not an emotion. Because the emotion is doing damage as long as it remains as such. When it becomes a memory, it doesn't take your heart rate up, it doesn't increase your blood pressure, it doesn't release the adrenaline, and therefore it doesn't have the undesirable effects of the consequences of that attack.
Thank you. Now I know that you have a lot of experience with a lot of different modalities. Which ones do you prefer to use? Which ones do you use most in your practice when you're doing sessions?
When I'm doing a session, the client is the driver. Mm-hmm. And therefore, depending on what the client needs, the client gets. Non-verbally, because sometimes prior to them attending, or sometimes I go out to see clients, I set my intention. I don't know prior to a session, unless I've had multiple sessions before, what I'm going to do. It is something that happens automatically. In other words, something tells me that what they need. It may be hands-on healing, it could be EFT, it could be Scenar, Cosmodic, it could be RIFE. There are so many different therapies. The reason I chose to be a multimodality therapist was because the silver bullet does not exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Each human being is unique. Each animal is unique. And therefore, the requirement to heal them or trigger the healing is different. If it is a man, they tend to want something physical, Scenar, laser, a massage, something on the physical side. Whereas women tend to be open to anything and everything. And I know that's an overgeneralization, but well, it's not meant to be sexist in any way. It's reality that women are accepting of whatever they receive. Men analyze things to too great an extent, not for their own benefit. They want to know too much. Healing just happens. Whether I'm using BodyTalk, BodyTalk, the connection, Reiki, they're just different frequencies.
Yeah.
That's all the devices are, is a different frequency. If we use the infinity, it is working with a whole range of different frequencies. It isn't just one frequency. We don't choose it. We have an influence over it, but an unconscious influence. So when we do an analysis, something happens. We don't tell it what to do. It does its own thing. So therefore, it reinforces the concept that it isn't necessary to say, this is what drug we use, this is what device we use. It's exactly the same as we don't say to infinity, this is what we want you to do. It will come out with the result. And that result is based on an analysis of our voice, our image, etc. So healing is unseen. We don't see healing occur. Some of my clients feel something going on, even though my hands may be 12 or 20 inches above their body. They can feel something happening. I can't explain it, and I never attempt to explain it, but something happens. I'll tell you a little story. Many years ago, I was doing a demonstration, and two ladies came along, and the first one got on the couch, and I worked on her. The other lady with her was her niece. She went on the couch, and I did my usual thing. The session finished. She got off the couch and said, was I supposed to feel something inside my body happening? Bearing in mind, my hands were in excess of 12 inches above her body. She had a sensation in her breast and in the groin area. So my normal remark when somebody says that, go along to see your doctor, your GP, and see what he says. She went along, had some tests, and she had cancer in 2 places. Now, I cannot explain why she had those sensations when I wasn't even touching her. About a year later, the other lady, who was her aunt, brought her husband to see me. He had a brain tumor and had been rushed into hospital and had an operation. I saw him after that operation. I'd seen him several times, and I'm working on him on the next occasion, and my hands were hurting. So I withdrew my hands. They were over his chest area. Every time I took my hands over his chest, my hand started hurting. So I said to the lady and her husband, are you going to see your consultant shortly? They said yes. Cut a long story short, he had blood clots in his lungs. How could I feel pain in my hands when I was above his body? I can't explain it. So there is a great deal that we do not understand why these things occur. I'm human. I'm no different from anyone else. Have I got unique talents? I doubt it. I believe that everybody has that same ability. But fortunately, in this world, we have applications like Infinity and RIFE, etc., that can help us to, or help anybody who does not have a skill to analyze and heal their own body or somebody else's via an app. That's brilliant. So there is too much that we don't really understand about the way healing occurs. Some people claim that it is due to this or that or something else, but it's all hypothesis. Nobody really understands, that is my belief, why these things happen. Over to you.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, Victor. You know, it's divine. It's all divine, isn't it? You know, and we're invoking that, and that, you know, when we request that intention, it's there. We know it's going to be there to support the whole process of the session. And we, you know, like, I love what you said there. Sometimes we don't know. We don't need to know what's happening. We're facilitating, and that's our job, and that's all we need to do is just hold that space for that person that we're working with.
Yes, with facilitators, we're just being guided.
Yeah.
If you start to intervene, you interrupt that flow of energy from the universe or wherever else it is coming from. You know, people try to explain these things in simple terms. We can't. We're not clever enough. You know, there are things, not necessarily humans, that have a far greater ability than we have. There is too much in this world that we don't really understand. We try to put our human interpretation on it. You know, our dog looks at us in a particular way, and we interpret that. What is it? It's energy. It's frequency. The dog barks in a particular way, and we interpret it. The sun shines, or it rains, and something happens. Plants grow. We don't really know, we know the mechanics of it, but why is it that these things happen? And you know, we bring in our own human interpretation. And in healing, that is not the best way of healing, because we're interrupting something that is above us, beyond us, to try and put an interpretation. We don't need to understand how we heal. It's something that happened. Healing has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. It isn't something new. Reiki didn't just come along in the, I think, was it 1920s, when I can't remember the man's name. He went to Hawaii and got together with a Hawaiian lady and produced what we now know as Reiki. Reiki and healing goes back thousands of years. What we see today is the human's interpretation and presentation of the way to heal. I can name a lot of examples of healing methods and practices that I have been taught. But at the end of the day, you've got to set intention, because if you don't set intention and understand it's a frequency and just a different frequency, the healing won't occur.
Perfectly said. Yeah, it's energy, isn't it? It's all, you know, and it's how we hold that space for our clients, you know, when they're in our presence, you know, like it's our job to maintain a positive attitude. And, you know, it's a sacred space for them to share and to receive healing in their own way. We're not doing the healing, they're doing the healing. We're
just conduits for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me just tell you another story, an interesting one. I was treating a teacher, and I'd seen him maybe a dozen times, and he came in to buy product, and he came in and sat down, and we were chatting away, and he bought his product, and he was with me maybe 30, 40 minutes, and he then took his product, went home, and 2 or 3 days later, I had an email from him questioning, should he have felt while he was with me that he was receiving healing? Now, he was sitting maybe 1 or 2 yards or meters away from me, and we were just chatting, nothing more than that, just about general things, his interest mainly. And he then tells me through this email that he felt exactly the same as when he had had a healing session with me on previous occasions. Now explain that, because I looked at his email and thought, yes, he's received healing, and accept it for what it is. But we can't really explain how we're able to transmit that. Was it transmitted through our aura? Was it a frequency transmission? Was it an energy transmission? We don't really know. But that is his experience of sitting there with me while he bought a product.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, my dog's doing something weird here. Yeah, it's the products help. The products help in the process of the healing, but it's, you know, without us holding the intention for that to happen, and with the person that is receiving, you know, our patients, or those that are coming to us to seek, you know, facilitation for their healing, without that intention, you know, not much is going to happen. They need to have the intention when they're coming to see us as healers or, you know, health professionals, that they are going to get well. They believe they need to want, first of all, need to want to get well. It starts there, doesn't it? And then be open to receiving whatever's coming in for their highest good.
Of course, that is why we use the words, I choose to be positive. I choose for the universe to free our world of poverty and disease. I choose to be healthy. These are positive statements. Mm-hmm. And if you wrote those on a piece of paper and wrapped it around a water bottle, the water bottle would be imprinted with that energy, the energy of the words. I use a particular set of frequency files. They come from Sandy in the States, and each one is the energy of the word that is on the file. And I use it during EFT, and the client holds it against their sternum, and we tap. And healing occurs not only through the tapping, but through the energy in that file. So, you know, there are so many different methods of transmitting the energy of healing, the frequency of healing, that it's unlimited. We could write the word love on a piece of stick and hold it to our sternum and tap on it, it would have exactly the same effect as any other method. We could write milk thistle on a piece of paper and hold it on our sternum. It would have the same effect and the same energy as the actual herb.
Absolutely.
So what is going on? We don't really understand how that can occur. We produce a remedy from the app, the infinity, and it has its energy going in to a liquid or into a piece of fruit or anything else. So this is energy transmission by using modern methods, but it is no different than doing hands-on healing with somebody sitting in a chair.
Mm-hmm.
Once you set your intent for their well-being.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because when I was at homeopathic college 25 years ago, we were told by the principal of the college, who was also one of the teachers, that if we happened to not have the remedy that we needed at the time, to just write it on a piece of paper, put it under a glass of water, and have the person drink that water, and it would do the same.
Yep.
Because of the intention.
And we all buy these different supplements, but we could write vitamin D3 on a piece of paper, put it in our top pocket if we've got one, and then it would have the same effect as taking the supplements. But you've got to put on the value. In other words, 5,000 IUs or 10,000 or 50,000. You've got to have a value. Otherwise, the body doesn't know.
Yes.
So ideally, you put as much information on as possible. Or in some circumstances, the body knows what it needs. Does it need 1 capsule? Does it need 20 capsules? Or does it need 3? You can use various methods, muscle testing, guesswork, energy work. There are so many different therapies, processes that you can use to determine what the client needs or what you need. You can do a sway test when you're in the pharmacy to see if the product is good for you or bad for you, whether it's a benefit or not. So it isn't necessary that you've got to take them to find out whether they work. You can try them without taking the lid off in the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Now, how do you best muscle test? I mean, people seem to have their own unique way of muscle testing, which is individual to them. What do you find? You've probably tried and tested a few different techniques. I'm thinking, Victor, which works best for you?
There are several that I just can't get on with. There's the one where you take the 2 fingers, the thumb and forefinger, and try and pull them apart. Mm-hmm. If you're doing it for yourself, the sway test, in my view, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
Some people use a pendant and hold it over an area of the body. For me, I like the sway test. I then am not influencing the client. I get them there to hold, whether it is a piece of shungite, moldavite, whatever, crystal, to find out which one would benefit them. If it's a supplement, I may get them to hold the supplement and again do a sway test. Holding the arm out and putting pressure on it, you're going into their aura. Mm-hmm. possibly, and I've found that I've managed to influence somebody because of my thought pattern could influence them. Whether I thought positively or I thought negatively, it would influence them. The sway test eliminates, you can be way out of their aura. It's again with healing. If you have a client on a couch and you're holding your hand, say 12 inches above their body, but their aura may be 30 inches above their body, and you have a different effect on the healing process. When I use the Reconnection or Reconnective Healing, again, when I'm working and I'm around the head or around the body, again, I'm not touching them, but people feel something occurring within their body. Now, my hands are like every other human being, maybe not as big, maybe not as small, but why does this happen? Something is occurring between my palms of my hand and their body, or inside their body. Why is it when I sweep up their body, they have a sensation inside? Is it in their mind, or is it physical? I don't know. I don't pretend to interpret it. They feel what they feel. If they have a benefit, that is, and a healing, that is the object of the exercise. Not for me to try and interpret why it's happening, why it occurs. It just does. You know, I've had so many examples where I stand back in total amazement, because why should my hands hurt when I'm not touching the other human being? It is something that is inexplicable that these things happen. So it proves to me that there are things beyond our comprehension that affect each other. You know, we see somebody the other side of the street. We look into their eyes and we see something. We are in an audience and we can pick out people's energy sitting out in front of us in a different row. And I may say, they're going through a divorce. She's got back problems. I do not know how I know. It's madness, really. And it can't be explained logically, but it happens. And the same with infinity. You must have faith, you must have belief in that it is not controlled by us as the end user or the therapist. Things will happen that are beyond our comprehension. Sure, algorithms were produced to work out to a certain extent, but how come the two individuals that run the program will get different results? Is it random? Or is there something that we don't really understand because we're only human? It's a frequency. So is RIFE. RIFE's frequencies, there are thousands of them, and they all have an effect. I've known people that have used RIFE and had the most incredible results. You speak to people that have Lyme's disease, and they swear that RIFE is the only means of controlling their Lyme's disease. It's just sounds playing, but it works.
Yeah, because they believe it.
Belief, yes, they believe it. Other people have told them that that is what is the cure. They've all tried the antibiotics and the other remedies and haven't succeeded. They sit down with a RIFE machine or with infinity and they see a result. They then have faith, and faith is part of healing. It is the faith in the fact that we as humans can heal. We as humans can interact without physically touching. We as humans can set our intention to heal and to be well and to be positive and to acquire. And that's what makes us human, because there's nothing physical, there's no physical touching, but something happens. Yeah. There is an exchange of energy, an exchange of frequency.
It's consciousness, isn't it? It's
consciousness, yes.
And I love what you say about resonance, Victor. Would you be happy to share a little bit about resonance in terms of consciousness, quantum resonance?
Resonance is the effect of frequency. Our body resonates. If I send out a frequency, and it could be love, it is the Emoto project, really. The audience sent out their energy to the jug of water. When the water was frozen, there was a crystalline structure. When they sent out hate, it was different. So we've got to ask the question, what were they sending out? Their bodies, their minds, their aura was resonating a frequency. Resonance is the result of energy, was the result of frequency. And therefore, our mind resonates to a frequency. I use another little device called, let me have a look, my memory's going, a Bellamy. And that influences, it is much like a PEMF. It affects the brain. And with the Bellamy, you can set it for a whole range of frequencies, which the device sits on the back of the skull on the occipital ridge, and you are being influenced by something that is on your hair. It's non-invasive and it pulsates. Energy, frequency, magnetic therapy, whatever you like to call it, it is energy, frequency. You can call it anything you like, but the end result is your brain is being changed. You put a PEMF device, you lie on it, you sleep on it, and it changes the way the cells in the body resonate. You use infinity, and depending on which way you're taking in the signal, it causes the body to resonate. So frequency, energy causes the body to change. And when the body is changing, it is not only electrical, which is due to the chemical changes, and every thought, every desire is a chemical change within the body. So anger, it's a chemical change. Research over the years in the allopathic world looked at women that had breast cancer, and they discovered that many, a very high percentage, had death, divorce, separation, all occurring within 3 to 12 months of them having breast cancer. That piece of research is being carried out around the world over many, many years. So, how is it that we get divorced and then we have a disease, or one partner loses their other half, another partner, and then they die within 2 years? So what is happening is there is a chemical change based on an emotion. In other words, the body is resonating at a different frequency, and that is causing the immune system to shut down and the desire to live. Once we, as humans, lose that desire to live, our body becomes acidic, our immune system is suppressed, and we gradually break down. The body then chooses not to absorb the nutrition that we provide for it. Because the energy that we are putting into our body, which is food, if, for example, you are consuming proteins make amino acids. As you get older, if you don't have proteins, you don't have the amino acids you need. So therefore, as you get older, you age faster. You lose muscle mass. If you don't exercise, you will lose muscle mass. But if you're not having protein to provide what the body needs, then no matter how much exercise you do, you will still lose muscle mass. So as we get older, it's essential we have proteins. And there are lots of different types of protein, from milk whey to hemp to green pea protein. It goes on. Brown rice is a good protein because it has chemicals within them which provide the amino acids that our body requires. As we get older, we tend to eat less, and it tends to be a reduction of proteins. But whatever way you look at it, it is the body is receiving a frequency which causes the body to resonate. And if the body does not resonate at the right frequency, because each organ, each part of the body has a unique frequency that it resonates at. So, we are frequency, intention, resonance are an important element of us remaining vibrant, remaining healthy, remaining active. And without them, we diminish, we die. And that's what the aging process does. But yes, resonance is the brain resonating. When we, as a male, look at a female, our brain resonates, a frequency happens in our brain that says, yes. We look into someone's eyes and something is triggered. We look at their smile and something happens physically inside us. Changes occur, whether it's a chemical change or a frequency change. Desire causes a change. When we hate somebody, the same thing happens in a slightly different way, so that hate has an effect on the body. It makes it acidic and therefore has the ultimate effect. You quite often hear stories of when two neighbors, they have a major disagreement and they hate each other. That is not healthy. They will both suffer. If they both hate each other equally, they will both suffer physically.
And if they both love each other unconditionally, it will have a beautiful, profound effect on their physiology.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
You know the feeling when you meet somebody and you fall in love. And that, what is that? That's a chemical change. That's a change in the resonance of the body.
Yeah. And we're falling in love with each other, aren't we? And that's kind of part of the transformation that's happening on the planet right now, is we're opening up our hearts more and we're able to take in more light. And I love what you were saying about that, Victor, about, continuing to be on the planet. When we're living at and maintaining that vibration of joy, and, health and happiness go hand in hand. So we're able to hold more light in our bodies, and then we don't get sick, and we have this high resilience.
If you've been to Africa and seen how, and I'm talking about Africa in general, no specific country, their happiness and joviality compared to going to Asia, for example, is quite different.
Mm-hmm.
Their personality is quite different. And their frequency is quite different. And they have got nothing in some of these African countries, but they're still jolly, they're still jovial, you know, they're enjoying life. We're generalizing, quite obviously. You go to India, for example, and sure, you've got the gurus who separate themselves from humanity, but in general, when they're poor, they're depleted. The Africans don't appear that way. They are of a different frequency. And you can go around the world, and what is personality? You know, it's a different frequency. If you go to Germany, go to America, go around the United States, and each area, people are quite different. The people that live in New York are very different than the ones that live in Colorado or in California. They're quite different animals.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that? Their environment is different. The pressures of life are different. All this has an influence on the way the body functions, the way the mind functions. But a function of the body is a frequency, and a frequency is the way the body resonates. So if you are a financier living in New York under pressure, you're working in the stock exchange, you are a very different animal than if you are a surfer living in California. The difference is not only the physical environment, but your lifestyle. Irrespective of education and work, I used to have people, my practice used to be in Buckinghamshire, and I would have clients coming in to see me who work in the City of London, and they would come in invariably on a Saturday morning, and they would say, I feel terrible, I can't sleep, etc., etc. And I used to say to them, well, tell me what your diet is like. And their diet was appalling. And we're talking about university educated, wherewithal, individuals that should know about living, about life, about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't. And when I say to them, do you drink water? No. Why don't you drink water? Well, I've got a can of Coke, that's liquid. That hydrates me. And I go, do you not understand? Water is imperative to life. Coca-Cola is suicide.
Mm-hmm.
It's suicide in a can.
Mm-hmm.
They say, oh, but it is slimline Coke. It's even worse.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They don't understand by having a white bread sandwich that it is bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that taking food out of a out of a freezer and putting it in the microwave, it's dead food.
Yeah.
They do not understand. And we're not talking about people that haven't got the funds to eat healthily. We're talking about educated university people with the wherewithal that should know better, and they don't.
No, there's a lack of education in that way, isn't there? Worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I just love what you're saying. And it's all about attitude, isn't it? Attitude determines altitude. And when we're exposed to this information, I mean, hopefully we'll always have the ability to be able to research information and have access to information on the internet, because it's just such a great resource. We need to educate ourselves more about this, because it's so important. It's important for humanity. It's important for our future. Children are our future, and the education that we're providing to them you know, I love what's happening here in Santa Barbara, in California, and probably there too, I would imagine, Victor. I haven't been back for a while, but, you know, there's school gardens. It started a few years ago, and it just became like so contagious. Like all the schools wanted to have school gardens and teach the children how to grow food. And it's so important for them to understand the value of that.
There are children in the major cities in the UK that do not know that meat comes from a live animal.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
They don't understand where the food comes from. It comes from a supermarket. They don't understand that there is a process of the food being grown, either livestock or crops. They do not understand it. You know, food comes in a packet. That's all they know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that food has energy. Not only energy to make you be able to be fit and healthy, but actual energy, frequency. Because when you are buying an organic product, you know, I have a smoothie in the morning, and if there are 30 or more ingredients in my smoothie, most people that hear about it think I'm bonkers.
Oh, I want to come stay with you for a while.
But it consists of all the nutrients that I need to keep me alive, well, and active, and disease-free.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the ingredients has a unique frequency, has a unique nutrient that is providing what my body requires.
Mm-hmm. Let's not pretend it's all about the nutrients, though, Victor. You know, it's like
no, that's another story.
Attitude. You have a great attitude. You have a very, very healthy attitude, and a zest for life.
Just diverting slightly. Depression, and a lot of people are suffering with corona and other issues, unemployment. Depression is a frame of mind. It is a change of frequency.
Yeah.
Being depressed is not just a mental issue, it's a physical one. Mm-hmm. Because being depressed causes changes within the body. And when the body changes, it's detrimental. And it's really the same old cliche, is the glass half full or half empty.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people that haven't got a great deal in the way of finance who are as happy as the ones that have. And the ones that have got the wherewithal are depressed.
Yes.
Because they haven't got enough. So it isn't something that is material that causes depression. It is your perspective. Remember that reality does not exist. Everything is a perception.
Mm-hmm.
Is it tall or is it short? Is it fat or is it skinny? Is he good looking or is he not? Is she beautiful? Is she not? Mm-hmm. It is your perception of your circumstances and everything around you. And depression is a perception of your circumstance. So if you change that perception, because as I said, reality does not exist, you change the perception and you lose the depression.
Yeah, so true. And it's when we have when we have the capacity to love, and our hearts are full of love and we are overflowing, then we are living in abundance, and we are creating that with all those around us, because there's no lack. So we're not trying to extract love from others. We're not trying to extract anything from others, because we are so full within ourselves, within our own beings. and then we start to emanate that out into the world and benefit those around us.
If we take one word that I've said earlier, I choose to be positive. And if an individual that was maybe depressed or not too well tapped on it every single day for 20 to 30 days, their perception will change. If they tap on, I ask the universe to free our world of poverty and disease, there will be a change in the brain. I choose to be healthy. You can tap on that and lose pain, aches and pains in your body, because the brain cannot separate reality from perception. I choose to be successful. You tap on that every day, and I promise you become far more successful than you are today. It is because there is a change in resonance within the brain, within the body. You are changing it's a different frequency. I choose to be positive than I choose to be guided by the universe. They are two different frequencies. And it is important that people learn how to use it to be able to change their life. And it is intention. My intention is I call upon the universe to heal, to whatever else, the words of your own, and I choose to be positive. I choose to be successful. You do that for 27 to 30 days, and I promise, I genuinely promise, you will be a different individual, because your perception of yourself and everything around you will change.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so very much, Victor. This has been great. Well, I hope everyone that watches and listens to this webinar, gets as much out of it as I have. It really is so important to be mindful of what we're doing, what we're thinking, how we're feeling, and be responsible for it.
We are our own, what is the word? I can't think of the word.
Created?
Our own guide, our own healer, whether it is mental health, physical health, we can heal ourselves. The body has the ability to heal.
Absolutely. Yeah, and energy follows thought.
Yes. And I use quantum touch, and that is the basis of the healing. You follow the energy and it goes to where you send it, and therefore healing occurs. So again, different healing modalities, they don't require anything more than thought and energy and frequency, because your thought converts to energy, converts to frequency, and you, through your intention, heals another.
Yeah, and that's how the world works.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Victor. Well,
my pleasure.
I'm going to go and make myself a smoothie and fill it with positive intention.
Wrap the glass or the jug with the positive statements, and always use it to be fit, healthy, well, and wonderful.
Love that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you all. And I'd love to do another one of these, because I could talk with you for hours.
The trouble is, I don't know when to stop.
That's great. That's all good. It means there's more for next time.
Yes. You enjoy your smoothie.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
You too. Have a great evening. Yeah, be well and be safe, everyone. Thank you.
To you. Bye.
And chat volume. If your issue is not urgent, you may be able to find a solution in our help center, help.infusionsoft.com, or if you're a Keep customer, help.keep.com. Thank you for your understanding and patience. For questions related to your account, press 1. For technical support related to your application, for general account questions, press 1. To discuss canceling your account, your call may be monitored or recorded for quality or training purposes. If you prefer to not hear hold music while you wait, press 1 now. Thank you for calling Keep. This is Dave. Can I start with your name and application ID, please?
Oh, hi, Dave. Yeah, please. It's Karen Avalon 272, and Ashton. I spoke with Ashton last, I think it was Ashton, and I wanted to cancel my account, and Ashton said he would just keep it open because I'm not using it. I'm not using my account, but I'm in the process of, I went through a really bad divorce, and my ex-husband was trying to do a hostile takeover of my company, and anyway, Ashton had kind of, experienced something similar, and he said, if you're not going to use it, let's just keep it open, and when you in a position that you want to use it again, you can use the same account. You won't need to start a new one. So I did that, but we agreed that there'd be no fee. Well, I $239 was debited from my account on Friday, and I don't have it. I mean, I'm in a very desperate situation financially, and I went overdrawn, and now I'm getting $35 overdraft fees for everything that comes in.
Oh, geez.
I know. I left a message earlier.
Yeah, let me take a look at this.
Thank you.
You said it was KA272?
Karen Avalon, and then MB. M for mother, B for brother, 272.
Oh. QuantumWave.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, great. Let me take a look at the cases here.
Thank you.
I see last time, just for Halloween, and then again in mid-October, mid-November. And then again in mid-December, he spoke to Cappy. So, let me put in a cancel request for you, and
Thank you.
have somebody from that department give you a call.
Thank you. Are you able to do a refund today, please?
I cannot.
Okay, would you be able to
yeah,
okay, I understand.
Access to that even a little bit.
If you can transfer
I can't
me,
even touch that system.
I understand. If you can transfer me to somebody, please, that can do that, because I need to do that ASAP.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get somebody on the line.
Thank you.
See who your current account manager is. It's Ashton. Okay, let me send him a message real quick.
Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't logged into the account for months. I mean, you can see it hasn't been used.
He is on a call right now. Okay, let me make sure I have your contact info. Would it be all right if he called you back?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, let me just double check that I have your correct contact info here. You said it's Karen.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Karen Williams on here,
Mm-hmm.
or the Karen Avalon is a different one?
I'm the same person.
Okay. I have two different phone numbers. One of them is 480-650-1616.
No, it's 805-708-5683.
Okay, that's the other one I have, so I'll use that one.
Okay, thank you.
And let me send him that phone number. So there's this, here's that. Okay, so that's in, and he'll give you a call when he's free, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, babe, this is just spinning. I can't get out. I can't do anything. Like, I'm totally frozen. I'm worried that if I shut my computer down, we're not going to have the recording. So I don't know what to do, darling. I'm wondering if you can do something, if you can log into Zoom. But the recording went on my computer, and I just don't know what to do. All right, thanks, babe. Bye. You're right, little babe. All right, my little love. Do you need poo? Do you need to do poo-poos? Yeah. It's just spinning there. My computer is just spinning, and I'm scared I'm going to lose it if I close it down now. So if I just go out of this and just like close my computer down, it'll still be on my computer. I won't lose it, so I'm still logged into Zoom. I'm still logged into Zoom. Well, my thing's spinning. I can't do it. It's just like, again, because it's so old, it just it spins and then it's locked up. I can't do it. No, it's not there. It's been doing this for like, it does this every so often, and I have to like press the button and turn my computer off. It's the only way I can get back into it and use it. But I'm scared if I do that while Zoom hasn't closed down, what I need to do it. Yeah. It doesn't stop doing this. It'll be like a school deadline, I swear. The only way I can get out of it is to turn the computer on. So what happens if let's just do it on the couch for now. It's too on the iPhone. All tomorrow. And Friday. Yeah. Oh, so you can do that in the settings? Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, the babe. Give me a baby. Give me a second. Stop it. Don't you need to poop, babe? You haven't pooped in so long. Sonny, come in or out, baby? In or out, so they're going to get on. I'm going to make a call.